If you're a busy mom like me and you're committed to serving healthy, nutritious meals to your little ones, you want to keep watching. These recipes are yummy, they're nutritious, they're quick, they freeze well, they can be the perfect finger food for your babies. Let's get into it. Welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you some nutritious baby/toddler meal ideas. These are my favorite go-tos and Michael absolutely crushes these. In today's video, we're going to be making 3 different kinds of meatball: a vegan option, a beef option, and a salmon option. Let's get right into it. First, you want to wash and rinse your quinoa and cook it according to the instructions on the package. I also like to stage all the ingredients that I would need for a cooking session. Usually when I go grocery shopping, I just wash all my vegetables as soon as I get back, or as soon as I have like a few minutes to spare. I wash all my vegetables, I chop them up, I dice them. It just depends on what I have in mind to cook. But I try to prep my vegetables and every other thing that I need ahead of time. It just makes the cooking process go a lot quicker and smoother. While the quinoa is cooking, in a boiling pot of water, go ahead and add your potatoes. You want to let that sit for about 2 to 3 minutes. Then once we get to that time, you want to go ahead and add your broccoli. We want to blanch the broccoli, not boil it. So we'll put it in and let it sit for about 2 more minutes. Once that time has elapsed, you immediately want to drain the liquid and shock the vegetables with cold water to stop the cooking process. So now everything is all cooked. It's time for us to process those vegetables and get them ready for mixture. Put the sweet potato and the broccoli in a food processor and just pulse it for a few seconds until you attain a grain-like mixture. Now, it's time for us to combine all the ingredients. In a big clean bowl, add the mixture. Then add a cup of quinoa. Add your spring onions. Mix it in a bit, then add the egg. And mix it all together. You also want to add a pinch of salt. If you're cooking this for a baby less than 12-month-old, you totally want to skip the salt. The last thing I'm going to add is half a cup of Parmesan cheese. I just like to add cheese in my meatballs because it keeps it moist. Plus, any opportunity to sneak in some extra calcium in there, I'm totally going for it. I already have a tray lined with parchment paper, so the last thing we're going to do is form some little balls out of this mixture, and these will go in the oven for about 20 minutes at 400 degrees Fahrenheit. I also drizzled a little bit of olive oil on each of the meatballs before I put that in the oven. Alright guys, that's it for this vegan option of meatball. So the first thing we're going to do is saute the vegetables. We have the onions, the frozen spinach, and spring onions. First, drizzle some olive oil, then saute the onions until it is translucent. After that, we're going to add the spinach and mix it all. Add a little bit of black pepper and mix for less than a minute. Alright, now it's time for us to make the mixture. Go ahead and add a cup of quinoa, about a pound of lean ground beef. You can use more, depends on how big a batch you'd like to make. Add the sauteed vegetables. Add about a tablespoon of garlic. I love garlic. If you don't like garlic, totally skip it. Add about a quarter cup of Parmesan cheese, some thyme, crack an egg, and mix it all. I also went ahead and added about 3 tablespoons of oatmeal. This helps to keep it moist, plus it's extra iron. I was reading on Mayo Clinic the other day. I didn't realize that iron deficiency is very common in young kids, ages 0 to 2. So any way possible to sneak in those nutrients in there, I'm totally all for it. Okay, so the last thing is to form some balls out of this mixture. I already have a pan lined with parchment paper. This is gonna go in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. You can do 15 minutes, just as long as it takes for the meat to fully cook. I'm going to be using some wild caught salmon. The first thing I'm going to do is put some Italian herb on that salmon. Then I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of salt. Again, if you're making this for a kid younger than 12 months, totally skip the salt. After that, I'm going to put some black pepper on there, drizzle some olive oil, and that goes straight in the oven at 375 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes, or however long it takes for the salmon to be fully cooked. Okay, this is a bonus recipe. If you make nothing else, you want to make this recipe. It's not only good for your kid, even adults would love this. I remember the first time I offered Michael butternut squash, he had a reaction to it. He had like red spots all over his body. I didn't even know people could react to vegetables. But anyways, he did. But he really liked it so much that we waited about a week or 2 to offer it again. And he had a similar reaction, but not as bad as the first time. And we went through the same process. We waited again for another week or 2, and then we offered it again. We did this for about 3 or 4 times, and now he doesn't react to it anymore. He really likes this stuff, which is why we took a chance to see if this reaction would clear, and it did, thank God. But you guys, when you make this, leave me a comment down below and tell me what you think. Okay, let's do it. In a clean bowl, add about 3 cups of cubed butternut squash. Then drizzle about 2 teaspoons of olive oil. Add half a teaspoon of Italian herb, half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of thyme, a pinch of salt, 1 tablespoon of garlic, and a quarter cup of Parmesan cheese. Give it a mix, put it in a tray lined with parchment paper. All of these goes in the oven at 400 degrees C for about 10 to 12 minutes. After 10 to 12 minutes, you want to give it a stir and sprinkle another quarter cup of Parmesan cheese over it and put it back in the oven for another 10 to 12 minutes or until the butternut squash is soft. Okay, it's time to make the salmon meatballs. While the peas are boiling over there, I'm going to go ahead and saute the vegetables that we're going to use. I'm going to add the onions and saute that until it is translucent, after which I'll go ahead and add the bell peppers. Once you've added the bell peppers, you want to go ahead and add a pinch of salt, a half a teaspoon of paprika. If you like, you can add cayenne if you want. Otherwise, you want to give that a stir. and it will be time to make the mixture. Go ahead and turn this over into a clean bowl. Add the salmon, add the peas. You want to go ahead and also add a tablespoon of minced garlic, a tablespoon of Dijon honey mustard. I also added 2 eggs to just help keep everything together. I have some wheat bread at home, so I'm going to go ahead and make my own breadcrumbs. I use about 3 slices, and you want to go ahead and pulse this until it's all crumbly. Take that mixture and also turn it over into the bowl. Now add about half a teaspoon of black pepper, a pinch of salt, and give that a little mix. Once it's ready, you want to cover that up and put it in the refrigerator for about an hour or so, just to let everything set and settle. It makes it a lot easier to work with when it's a little cold and together. Alright, so it's been over an hour. Now it's time for us to roll this into meatballs and put it in the oven. I already have my baking sheet lined with parchment paper, and I'm gonna start rolling this. Now I'm gonna put this in the oven at 375°C for about 8 to 10 minutes. It's hot, buddy. No, you're not phased, huh? For dinner tonight, Michael had some of those butternut squash and 2 meatballs. I served him one of the vegan ones and one of the ones with beef. I put some tomato marinara sauce over the meatballs. You would see the butternut squash were the first ones to go before he attacked the meatballs. He finished everything on his plates today. I didn't cook everything I made. I froze some of them and put them in Ziploc bag and had it all labeled. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching. Make sure to give it a thumbs up if you like this kind of content so that I can keep putting up stuff like this. If not, see you in the next video. Bye guys.